Oh, that's fine. I'm gonna.
Because then it's open. Right?
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. I'll probably just this will be a cold open.
Cool.
Tastes funny.
Hello.
All right.
And welcome to episode 17. That was very delightful, Pete.
Yeah, thank you.
Of the Taste Funny podcast, in which myself, Joe McLachlan,
And myself, Burpee McHugh.
yeah, that threw me.
Sorry.
Listen to an album.
Yeah. What we do is, right, we get music from to the person that person think might be good or might be bad, but might be confusing and might be not that bad. And then we listen to it and tell each other what we thought about it.
Was that every fucking time I make you do the intro, you fuck it up, and then that was really good. Well done.
Cheers, pal.
So, yeah, we've been listening to some songs. So, one thing that I meant to tell you about.
Some up top preamble.
Yeah. So, we have a Twitter page now, which I never use.
Of course.
I don't.
Were we still just Sadiq Khan Central?
No, we don't even follow him anymore.
Oh.
So there was a point at which, we were following just Sadiq Khan. And we've had one tweet, bless her, we had one tweet from our friend Jess.
Right, yeah.
Who, she tweeted us to say, I listened today, this was on the 22nd of February, I listened today but only because I remembered you're on Overcast, to which I responded, fun fact, I did not know we were on Overcast. So that was nice.
Yeah.
I was pleased to know that she was listening. That was kind of her.
I think you did talk about that last time. And you said that, but I don't know you meant. Yeah.
I have. Yeah. The only other interaction, because I haven't shared this, it's at Tastes Funny Pod if anyone wants to follow us, but there's not anything on there. But we so you briefly mentioned before that there was another podcast called Taste Funny.
There's at least two.
So the one that I know of is we were tagged as another chef.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, a chef was having a chat. There wasn't one when we started, by the way.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have definitely been going less time than us, even if they've put out nearly as much content.
Yeah,
because they're like doing a weekly thing or something.
It's fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah.
So, but we were tagged, and it was exciting for me. We were tagged by Fat Venture, and one of their co-owners, a comedian called Alexis Guerreros, was tagged. He was on that podcast, but they tagged him as being on ours, and that tweet was liked by 4 people, none of whom responded with, "By the way, that is the wrong fucking podcast." But there we are. So maybe I should listen to that.
Yeah, maybe they're good.
Give them a listen, guys.
Yeah,
it might be good, might not be. I don't know. Never listened.
Yeah, there's at least one other one that doesn't appear to have done much ever.
That's good. You sure it's not just us?
Does exist? No, it's not us. No.
Right, okay.
They've done less than that.
And I don't think we have. Oh yes. So further to our listener in New York.
Yeah. Oh right. Okay.
Right. We also now have one in Maryland.
Okay.
Or Maryland. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Maryland.
I always feel like it's one of those words that you only ever hear Americans say, because when you're referring to the biscuits over here, you would say Maryland.
Yeah.
But it's probably Maryland. We're also joined again today by Neith, the podcast dog.
Yay! Neith, the furry ball puncher.
Yeah.
She's not been for walkies yet, so she's full of spunk.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
Well, I meant it in the sort of, pep energy way, as opposed to the jizz liquid balls way.
The jizz liquid balls.
Yeah.
That's your drag name.
It is my drag name. Actually, that's Liz Drickwood Balls. You like that?
That's disgusting. So, it's going to take me a while. Oh, Jesus, jingle.
So, Joe, pray, what have I been listening to this month?
Well, you've been listening to a lovely Scottish couple called Janine and Hamish.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as Vukovi.
They weren't a Scottish couple when I listened to them, though.
Well, they were still Scottish.
Yeah, they weren't a couple, though. There was 4 of them, I believe,
at
the time. So who are the remaining members? The guitarist?
It's guitar player and singer. So Hamish and Janine are the two that are still in it.
Okay, that's sad.
Yeah.
So there are 4 pieces from Scotland is what I have written down. And there's a lot of bullet points here that you'll be noticing. And I'm going to go through those because these are the sort of like up top stuff that I just want to talk about. I need a genre for this band because they're listed variously all over the internet as all sorts of things, from experimental rock to pop punk, and I don't think anybody's really given them a genre that's befitting the music they make, because the music they make is very much post-hardcore punk, sort of in the vein of the more emo-y end of post-hardcore for the most part, but it is very poppy, but it's also quite interestingly progressive in places. So I think it's quite hard to genreify this band, but I would just go ahead and say they are probably a post-hardcore band.
I was very concerned when giving the if I've ever put these on anywhere, the first thing that anyone says is, "Oh, they're like Paramore," and I very specifically didn't mention that when I gave you this album, because I personally I can hear it, but it's not.
It's very there.
It's
very there, but we'll get to it when we get to it. So, Wolfski. So the band originally formed under the name Wolves. I don't know if you knew, do you know this? And then they've changed their name to Vukovi.
Yeah. So it was originally the three guys.
Yeah.
And then Janine joined.
Do you know what Vukovi means?
I do. It means wolves.
It means wolves.
Which is
they changed their name from Wolves to Wolves.
But it means it in Serbian.
Or Croatian.
Or Croatian.
Yeah. But yeah, so...
Hi, if you're listening, John.
I just thought that was funny that they'd gone, we should change our name. What do you want to change it to? Exactly the same name.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, well, maybe we should have done the same with the X-Tower.
Maybe,
Das Tavos. I don't know what.
Das Anti-Tavels.
Yeah, Das
anyway.
Anti-Tavels.
So when I mentioned... Because we've already talked about in the last episode that we had a little bit of an off-pod meet-up, sort of general friend time thing going on. And when we met up there, I had mentioned to you that I was really, really... hadn't stopped listening to this album. And you were very surprised.
I was.
So I want to know why you thought I was going to hate it.
The Paramore thing is exactly it. I thought... For me, there's more to this album than there being a sort of poppy, emo-y, pop-punk band. Yeah. There's more to it than that for me. There's a bit more dancey stuff in there. There's more programming. I think the fact that they're Scottish, for some reason, for me,
it just helps.
It helps. It makes me. They're not part of the same scene. They're very Dayglow. They're very, it's really hard to not let this. For me, this this really gets under my skin. The music really gets under my skin.
Right.
And I thought you'd hate it because I thought you'd latch onto the Paramore bit, and kind of just go, oh, this isn't for me. And I didn't want to give you that to latch onto. That's why I didn't mention it. But I was excited that you listened to it more than once.
That's entirely fair. Yeah. So, okay. I guess now we have to start with me actually talking about what I think about music. So
it'd be nice to hear.
I've written the Amanda Palmer Outlook there, and that's referencing some lyrics from a song by the Dresden Dolls, which is called "Bad Habit," and the lyrics in specifics that I'm referencing are. Sappy songs about sex and cheating, bland accounts of two lovers meeting, make me want to give mankind a beating. That is generally how I feel about most of the songwriting on this, is that it falls into that category. But I actually like it. Yeah. I tend to find I don't hate the songwriting. Lyrically, this is so on the nose. It's bordering on painfully on the nose, and that's fine. It's neither here nor there. Yeah. The whole album is drenched in this pop aesthetic and super clean production. Really, really, really gorgeously clean. And every song sort of falls under that 3-minute limit. You don't want to go too far past that. Yeah. People start losing interest. Got to keep the radio hits coming. Got to keep that.
See, the thing is, though, you say that. I don't know if these have had any radio hits.
No, I'm not suggesting for a second that they have. I'm just saying, they are clearly angling for...
I don't know if that's
They are 100%.
I genuinely wouldn't take that.
They are.
Really
I'm not saying that that's a bad thing either. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that they are... Because here's how I feel about every single vocal on this album. If you lifted it off the beat and the track that it's on and plonked it down on a generic pop beat, it would be borderline radio worthy.
The thing is, though,
I could see people listening to it.
But one of the things that stands out of this album for me, to be fair, is her vocals.
I'm not complaining. We will get to what I actually think about the album when we get past the bullet points. All I'm saying is there is not a single song on this album that you couldn't just rip the rock and roll out of and have it be a modern day pop standard.
It's pop with guts. Like that's
that's
we'll go with that as a genre.
Sure.
You haven't got a genre. There's one.
Paramore, Paraless.
You were really proud of yourself when you thought that, weren't you?
The Paramore, more like Paraless, exactly. These
really
guys are the Paramore. These guys have got Paramore going on in their music than Paraless having the little fingers. So much stuff jam-packed in there, and you've already mentioned a bunch of it. Like, there's so much going on, much deeper under the surface there.
Something deeper underground.
Yeah, so here's the thing that really drew me to the album was the whole thing's really groovy, and I will openly admit that my two favourite musicians on this album are not the singer and they're not the guitarist, which is why I'm gutted to find out that those are the only two remaining members, because the drummer and the bassist were significantly better as far as my enjoyment of this music goes.
Have you listened to the new song yet?
Yes.
And did you notice they were gone?
No.
Right, it's fine then, isn't it?
It's probably fine.
Well, I think the argument...
I think I would notice on an album.
It's hard to tell, because
I don't really know. I listened to the new song, but I wouldn't say I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed this album, or the songs that I've heard on this album. Yeah. And oftentimes, when I'm going to point at a bit and go, oh, I really liked what was happening at this bit, it's usually either drums or bass. Yeah. It's very rarely anything else.
I knew that the drummer had left, and it was only after Claudia came out, Claudia being the new single, for anybody not initiated with this band. It's a great, again, as a lead single from an album, it's a good tune to kind of get you go, I will listen to that album, probably.
Yeah.
So I didn't know the bass player had left until Claudia came out, and then I'd seen it was just the two of them in the promo pictures, and I was like, oh shit, hang on, why is there only two of them? And basically I think it comes down to the same sort of thing as with the Smiths, that the drums and bass, although very important in the songs, were basically being put together by these two anyway, so it wasn't like they were being played.
I mean, I think that will remain to be seen until some more music emerges, because I did not get a lot of the stuff that I liked on this album from that single. I got some of it. It's got the lovely sort of 80s synthy things going on, and it's got the same sort of rocked up guitars happening. But a lot of what I really liked on this album was the more intricate elements of the drumming. There was a lot of triplet-y, groovy stuff happening. I mean, there's an entire song in 7/4 on this album, which... How many 7/4 pop songs are there out there? I'll be interested to see if the weird approach to groove and rhythm continues on the new material. I suspect it won't.
I would say the opposite, because it's, like I say, it's being arranged by Ginny and Hamish. So I think, you don't get a time signature is not just something that the drummer chucks in.
No, I know, but even his groove was particularly good.
Yeah.
I'm open-minded, and I'll wait and see what happens with it. But I'm gonna guesstimate now that I probably won't enjoy the new material as much.
Okay. We'll see. We have got very sidetracked, so I apologise, because that's my fault.
No, it's fair. Well, let's get into the blow-by-blows here. So the first track on this album was La-Di-Da, and I was initially incredibly worried for all of about 8 seconds as Paramore rang into my ears, and I went, oh, what the fuck? Oh, God. But then, that riff comes in, and it's very obviously, my worry just gone, evaporated away. The opening hook is super groovy, and the lyrics are basic and on the nose, but it's got the synths that are building into the chorus. There's really powerful guitar tone, which is very mid-central, and it's really bit crushed or distorted on a lot of the tracks. It ends up almost sounding synthesized, and I also really like it when he uses a lot of really glassy, icy sounding tones as well that are beautiful, really ringing out high and feedbacky, and they're nice. But some lovely use of synths on the back end of this track, and it's got a really heavy outro riff, which, I mean, you just can't go wrong with a really heavy end to a song, just something that really gets your head waggling. And I've not really written a lot about any of these songs, because they are these little 3-minute chunks. There's not really a lot of time to get a lot of stuff in by Pete standards.
I was just saying, I think that's one of the other things that I think I was probably going to chuck in earlier, that in comparison to what you normally like,
a lot of
3 minutes is a decent length of time for a pop song.
And
if you are like I don't listen to much that falls outside of that, because I get bored. I don't have an attention span.
4 or 5 minutes is a good length for a song for me. I think that's fine. 7 or 8 minutes, you better be good. You better be Yob. You better be somebody who's keeping my interest.
Yeah.
Or Devin, he can pull that off. But a lot of bands just the idea runs dry after 3 or 4 minutes. But that's not a problem here because we're keeping everything nice and tight and locked down. And like I said earlier when I brought it up, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I really find that this album is just very hard hitting song to song. I'm just like, yep, great, good, moving on, next, woo, next.
There's not a lot of it's very...
There's very little downtime, but it's just lovely little punchy tracks, one after another, ba. And that's fine, that's great, keeps everything moving along nicely. So we'll move into track 2 pretty much straight away. He lost his mind. I'm not a super fan of the lyrics here. It's a bit basic bitch, it's a bit Amazon Basics lyrics, honestly. I mean, I appreciate the point of the song and, on the topic of addiction and drug and alcohol misuse or whatever. But, like, at best, it's a bit basic, and at worst, it's a bit preachy. So, meh, lyrically. But I actually, like I say, don't care. Because the riff goes hard. It just goes in straight away. I'm bouncing away. It's so energetic and good and groovy. So very, very, very... very groovy with the little triplet breakdowns at the end of the verses, and the whoa thing that she does with the voice in her chorus literally makes me pitch a little tent in my pants in public, which is not good. So be aware if you're going to listen to this album in a public setting, just be ready for that track too.
Voice, man,
because when she does the whoa, it's just like why?
It's lovely, man. To be fair, my wife put it very well. She refers to it as she plays her voice like it's an instrument. It's like it's not even like it's so like even if lyrically it doesn't do much for you, the way she presents those lyrics. She's
a fantastic singer.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, and
it gives you the
like this is it. I just listen to her voice and I switch off the part of me that processes words. Basically, I just ignore the fact that she's saying words because this song I find annoying. Like I'm just like, all right, I get it. I get the point you're trying to make. You're being a bit sledgehammery with the point. And the rest of it, there's nothing particularly wrong with the lyrics. I just don't care. It's like, it's about love. Okay, it's about a boy who was an asshole to you. It's about, there is one exception to this rule, actually. You can guess away which one that is.
When I listen to the albums you give me, I try and listen to the music and I try and read the lyrics.
Yeah.
With an album I actually like from the off, I don't really pay that much attention to the lyrics. If they grab me, they grab me. If they don't, if they're interesting. It's really fucking hard to sing along to because she's such a good singer. Like I find it really, like I try.
I'm bad at singing to anything, so I just don't care and just balls out, go for it.
Yeah. Oh, I try. Don't get me wrong, I try, Pete. But and I'm not the worst singer in the world.
No.
But I really notice where I lack when
you try singing to
when I'm trying to sing along to this.
Yeah, it like I say, it doesn't help that she's literally a pop singer.
I remember finding that pop wasn't just the stuff that got played on the radio. For all it's short for popular.
Yeah.
Like pop doesn't there is great pop.
I think we've definitely had this.
We've definitely covered it. Yeah, I think probably probably when we talked about Dandelion.
Or potentially the Dough.
Yeah, exactly. Like, pop doesn't have to be the stuff that you're played on the radio. There's loads of amazing pop records out there.
Superorganism, guys. Superorganism.
Yeah.
Do that. They're great.
Exactly.
But so where were we? She does the whoa thing. It makes me squirm uncomfortably in public. And they do this really nice half time with the riff. It just gives it a ton of weight at the end of the chorus as well, which across the chorus I should say, not at the end of it at all. But just more triplety breakdowny stuff, and the back half of the song, it's just super distorted. They double time the chorus, it's faster, and great. I love it. I really like this song. I just have to ignore what she's saying and I can bop along quite happily. So the next track is Weirdo, track number 3. Yeah. And I love this song, and I love the lyrics, and I love everything about this song. Yeah,
this was the one I would legitimately have picked you out as hating more than any of the others.
No, why would I do that? This song isn't written for normies. This song's written for Pete. This song's written for people who like were pointed at and I'm still a weirdo now. People still look at me funny in the street.
Yeah, but it's very.
And I realise it's a complete bratty teenage girl song.
Oh, it's a
emotionally.
rehash of so many.
Oh God,
Again, rehash is not. That's an unkind word.
Yeah.
I think it's a fucking great example of the songs of being like, we're the weirdos. Let's all stick together.
Yeah.
But like, I thought for that reason because you like.
Okay, I don't know why, but when the chorus goes in, I'm feeling really empowered by it. I feel really because I am a bit of a weirdo. Some of you people will have met me, but maybe if you haven't met me and you're listening to this, I'm generally walking around in some sort of Dayglow tie-dye hoodie thing, and I don't. Yeah, people stare.
You look like you've bought all your clothes in a shop that sells hemp.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
and joss sticks.
And meanwhile, depending on what year of the Julian calendar it is, Joe is probably wearing a floor-length purple coat, has some sort of ridiculous facial hair, and could be wearing some sort of weird hat. But you might resurrect it for all I know. You've been cobbling it back together with strips of felt you bought at a vegan flea market.
I mean, in fairness, I'm too fat for the coat now, so that's the genuine reason that never gets pulled out. Actually, no, that got the coat kind of got ditched because not ditched partially because my wife hates it, but also because I was walking down the street one time and some young Japanese women laughed at me, and I thought if they think I look ridiculous, I'm fucked, aren't I? Like, because they weren't dressed. I will just say they were doing the full Sailor Moon kind of bullshit. Like, I'm not like. I'm not just being because they're Japanese. They were dressed in such a way that suggested they were going to Comic-Con, except there definitely wasn't one in town that day. I'd have known about it. And they thought I looked ridiculous. And I thought, right, well, I've crossed a line then, haven't I?
Yeah, clearly. The line has been crossed.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Weirdo.
But totally get on with that as a reason for liking this song, though.
Yeah. So I've said here that I feel like the lyrics are a little bit Tesco's own brand, but that it's a product I need and like. So that's
nothing
fine
wrong with own brand.
Me. You know what I mean? Yeah. If
brand.
It does the job, then own brand dish soap will do.
Stick your fucking cornflakes up your ass, Kellogg's.
Exactly. Yeah. Quite right. So it's just a bit of a classic pop punk track, honestly.
Yeah.
With these really lovely 80s cheese vibes splattered all over everything. A lovely, really nice synth. On the album, in general, really nice synthesizers. Just everything. A lot of and I've said this already about the guitars at points on the album, and definitely the synths. Everything feels really glassy. It feels really. I don't know how to describe it. Twinkly and glassy and icy, cold sometimes maybe, especially the guitar tones. And I know those are all really weird descriptive words for sound, but they are general. That's a genuine sort of description if you know what I'm trying to angle at. The guitars are really nice and distorted, and there's some more glassy tones in the back half of the track on the sort of this waily stuff coming from the guitars. Yeah, I haven't really written much about this track, and it's probably because I was having far too much fun listening to it. It's got a nice breakdown, and at the end, and I love the vocals. I've put down that, oh my god, that girl's because she pronounces weirdo as weirdo. It's two completely separate words in that song. Oh my god, that girl's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy.
It's really nice.
I also like weird.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice. It's nicely rhythmic. That like.
Yeah, that's song.
Like she's playing down the scale. It's just great.
Good song. Moving on. Target Practice. Hey, is it 2005 again? Because this new rave track is really, really late. So immediately, the first time I heard this track, I was like, oh my god, they wrote a new rave track. Because it does. It sounds like this. And you've already said that the band are really Dayglow, and honestly, I feel like if these guys had started up in 2005, they'd have been hella famous in the UK.
Probably.
I think they'd have exploded over
here. Well, to be fair though, 2005 would have brought them right into that. They'd have been
directly competing with Paramore, early game Paramore, but more importantly, they would have had like an actual scene behind them in the UK because they would have slotted into the sort of the new rave movement perfectly. Alongside, I could see these guys playing alongside like Party Shank and some of the other.
They'd have been the radio friendly version of a lot of bands that were.
Yeah, for sure.
That were kicking about. At the time.
Definitely. But yeah, it's got a really funky bass line on this one. Just great bass, and again super 80s synthy arpy stuff. And the big drum machine claps as well that are very obviously sort of synthesized claps that have got loads of reverb on them and just so.
You can expect plenty of drum machine noises
Yeah,
because
yeah.
actually, no, to be fair, they do still play with the drummer, just not that one.
Yeah, the chorus is just an absolute joy, and the main refrain is just so bouncy and full of energy. I think this track would just be such a blast live. I think Target Practice would be just. Yeah.
They're not playing anywhere near us.
Oh, really?
I'm fucking livid.
So all the south, and then
They
like
are.
Scotland.
No, well, because obviously they're a Scottish band,
Yeah.
so they're sort of playing more down the west side of the country. But they are, to be fair, they are playing up here with another band. They're supporting a band called Set It Off, who I have never heard. So maybe I should listen to them. And
Maybe we'll go.
but yeah, they did play Newcastle not that long ago. Well, a couple of years ago, I suppose. But like they, have I finally given it away where we are situated?
Probably.
No, to be fair, we don't live in Newcastle, so fuck you.
Okay.
But no, they did play a couple of years ago, but I can't remember why I couldn't go. There was a good reason that I was not available to go that night.
Yeah.
But fuck, I'd have loved to see these live.
Yeah, I'd love to have gone. That sounds like I think live would be a really great.
These were when we
band.
first started this project. I was very much hoping these were the band I would have taken you to see if I'd had my pick of everybody.
I would have been loving my life.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. So Prey. It's definitely one of the poppest songs that the album has yet brought forth. You know, because quite a lot of the first 4 tracks, they're quite riffy, they're quite energetic and bouncy. Prey's just a bit more pop sounding, I guess. But it's got that really, really thick sounding production on everything. Like the guitars just sound massive and lush. And there's yet more of these very glassy, icy guitar tones. And in the chorus, the vocals are really.
Is glassy icy your
soaring.
new warm and fuzzy?
It's the exact opposite of warm and fuzzy. It's for this album, yeah, I'm going to say it a lot, but it's like if you wanted to extrapolate it, it's pretty much the opposite of warm and fuzzy. It's the very cold and brittle tones, I guess. The vocals in the chorus on this track are particularly just really soaring and huge. But I only really care about the drum groove from the breakdown because it's ridiculous and it's awesome and it makes everything better. It's my favourite thing in the track.
Good.
Just really, really fat groove in the breakdown. And lots of, like I say, these slidey down synths as well around that time. And a little bit of a ska bounce as well on heading into the last chorus. There's a little bit of a sort of a ska-y thing maybe happening. And this is another song about love, so I've not really given much thought or talked about the lyrics, but the vocals are fab and the really nice like, we aren't scared of creepy little creepers. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. That one. Yeah. I love it. Great. Loving it. Fab. Next. Bouncy Castle.
I say next like it's my responsibility. It's very much you.
It's Bouncy Castle. Bass and drums are running the show for me again. Absolutely. Just funky and nice. These really washed out, echoey guitars, loads of delay on them in the chorus. And it's super anthemic. Throw your hands up. Sing along pop. So that's all I've got. Like, it's a great song. It's fine. I like it. But we're on to the next one straight away because that's kind of how this album feels to me. It's like oh, that's a nice flavour. Oh, that's a nice flavour, and we just keep going, and it's good because it never gets boring. But
maybe that's, to be fair, we've not had a one for a while where like something like Ocean Machine or In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, where it feels like there's maybe an overarching theme, or there's like we've had a fairly decent spate of just
albums,
decent proper like pop records. Yeah. And
that's true.
Much more pop. Even the stuff you've been giving me has been more.
Which track did you put on the end of the...
I put La Di Da.
Oh, excellent.
Because I love the fucking... I just think as an opening...
That's lost his mind.
Yeah. No, I just think as an opening to an album.
It's a very good album.
It just literally...
It
literally just kicks the fucking door in. It's just
boom! I didn't really say that, but yeah, the first track is going all in straight off the bat, no chill. Like after that first 8 seconds, it's just coming for you.
It's like
Definitely.
it's literally just for me. They might as well have just turned up at the door. She's kicked open this like big like a church door
Yeah.
and just gone like love me, you wanna leave.
Yeah.
And I like the bit where
Okay, yeah.
you waste the space. You want to go tell me to my fucking face.
There's
That's-
definitely some gumption in that one. So,
Pop with guts, mate. Pop
yeah.
with guts.
So now let's get into the 4 best tracks on the album. Hands
Okay.
down, no competition.
Easy, fair enough.
Yeah. Wanderer. This is my favourite. This is my absolute favourite. It's the one I'll be putting in for my clip, so we'll probably have a bit of that now.
Cool.
Wake us up before you go. You've packed your things and in a mood. But once you're there, you can't turn back. Get down from there.
So track 7, Wanderer, is this absolutely beautiful piece of grooving 7/4 pop. It's not a particularly heavy track compared to a lot of the songs on the album, which is maybe why it wouldn't have been the first one you might have thought I'd have gravitated towards, I guess. But
Though to be fair, you never
it's-
go for the one that I think you're going to go for.
I
I don't know what I think I expected you to go for on this album.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's not what I expected me to go for after my first listen. I was pretty sure I preferred like Boy George and Animal were my more standouts, but over subsequent listens, especially once I started tapping out rhythms on my legs and stuff while I was just sat in the house and I wasn't listening to it while I was walking the dog, so I was like, hang on a minute, this is in 7/4. Wait, what? and then I the bass hook and the drums in this track are on another level compared to everything else. They're just so good, and I don't know. I'm just gonna gush about this one. I love it. I love it. Beautiful, really sultry vocals for the verses that burst into these huge, open, anthemic vocals in the chorus. There's tons of that 80s vibey, synthy stuff happening again. Just verse, chorus, rinse, repeat, bash, done. But it's so good. And it's also well put together. And I think this is the sort of thing that I think will be missing from the next album.
Okay.
And this is the sort of thing that I'm really gutted about, because this is like, if you put this song side by side with a comparable sort of song by a band like Paramore, for me at least, there would just be no competition. It's
Yeah.
not even close. It's
Yeah.
not even in
Well,
the
I
same
think it's songs like
dimension.
this where that comparison falls down. I personally, it's one of those things where, like, in the same way that you could, on the face of it, there is an element of those sorts of bands. But
Yeah.
actually, if you spend any time listening to the
Listening
full
to
album,
the album,
like in the same way that like you would,
I have recommended this album to so many people already.
that's
Like,
that's really good
Because
news.
pretty much as soon as I heard it, I was like, I think James and Trouty need to listen to this, because I think they'll get into it. Because I know they're both this like me. If there's a solid groove in a band, it doesn't really matter if it's what it is.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
like a good groove. So I immediately sent it to them. I've sent it to Paul, and I've sent it to Christina and a few other people who are
That's
like,
really
you
exciting.
should listen to this. This is frigging great.
That's really exciting for me.
But yeah, so
Because this is, of all the albums I expected you to get on with,
this isn't it. No.
this is really not. Then again, I'm saying that, but I don't know what else I've given you that I thought you'd get on with. Chumbawamba was the only one I've been dead certain I've been like, there's no way you can't like it.
Yeah, nobody could hate this.
Yeah, I'm surprised by how much you've enjoyed
I've
this.
really enjoyed it. Like, it's realistically not been off. Chances are, when I go out to walk the dog later, it might just go on, because I have genuinely been there. Like, I could listen to Devin today, or I could put the code back. Right, and that's
Fuck you, Devin.
That's when you know I like an album.
Fuck you,
that's
Devin
me.
Townsend.
That's me loving the shit out of an album right there. When I'm like, there's a new Devin Townsend album out, I could listen to that, or I could keep listening to this friggin' pop punk album.
That's the highest praise I feel.
Oh yeah,
I certainly didn't expect that.
I have been seriously addicted to this album. So anyway, well let's move on before I start rambling again, because I'm definitely about to. I'm Wired. Just again with these lovely spacey guitar tones, straight back at it with these very open.
This was the one that was playing in your car when
guitar
you
tones.
arrived when we went
Yes,
to the park
it
the other
is.
week.
I was probably absolutely loving my life as well when it was. It's just another track full of these really meaty, groovy guitar lines, and more of those claps, those big drum machine claps and 80s RP synths. This is This chorus is huge. It's a really colossal sounding. I don't know. It feels very. I don't know. I feel like it could be a very good pop chorus. I feel like it'd work really well in a pop track. But here it's got so much more intensity because of the fact that it's a rock song.
It's got
a bit more.
It's one of the more dancier ones as well, where it feels like more of a sort of like you say, like
a bit more techno. Well, that's lots of RP synthy stuff going on. The second verse is just musically goosebumpy and inducing the goosebumps because I don't know, the guitars are really brought back and shortened up, like the duration of the notes, but the drums become busier, and you get a heavier sort of 16th note feel on the drums, which is really lovely. The whole thing just, I'm glad they gave the heavy bit from the end of the chorus riff its own time to shine as well towards the back end of the track with like this refrain where they bring it back in. That was great. And then the second to last repetition of the chorus where it drops to half time is so heavy, like it's neck snapping. It's just because the vocals are just going for it, and it just drops that riff to half time. It's just like, oh god, my neck, why? So good, so good, so good. These 4 tracks are it for me. You could get rid of the rest of the album, I wouldn't care. These are the moist. So Animal, more super glassy, super brittle sounding icy guitar tones, and a really, really punky riff, a little bit All American Rejects-y, maybe. I don't know. There was a couple of songs that gave me the AMR vibe. I don't know why. Maybe they remind me of a certain song by them or something, but there was just something about the way it was being played. Although I will say these guys use a lot more interesting chords. I don't know if you've really picked up on that.
Vaguely, but not really, no.
They use some really weird... because I don't know diddly shit about writing music from a notation perspective. I can do it on a piano roll, and I can sort of feel a chord out using my earballs and just... that note sounds bum, move it up one until it sounds good. But whatever... I know what the regular chord structures sound like vaguely, and there's some really weird stuff in here where they're messing around with it, which is great. It's really lovely. But yeah, this track, Animal, is just going in.
This is the first one I heard.
Straight from the start, it's just coming for you. The vocals on the chorus are really outstanding, and I love that sort of chopped electronic effect.
Yeah.
Coming like an animal. Sort of chopping it. I can't do an impression of it because it's impossible. It's a computer thing. Yeah, the chorus is also super groovy again. Back with these really loose feeling super grooves. Tight. Sorry, they're not loose feeling. They're quite tight from the drum perspective, but compared to a lot of music in this genre, just the fact that it is so groovy, it feels more flowing, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is the first one. This is the first song I heard from this album. So what had happened was I'd seen there was an article in Kerrang. Again, every now and again I flick through Kerrang when I see it in the newsagents. Very rarely pick anything up from it, but there was something about there was just a brief bit of an interview, and they were talking about comic books and stuff like that, and I thought, I could get nerd band basically, and I was like, maybe look them up later. So I had a quick listen on Spotify or possibly YouTube. I think I YouTubed them, and Animal was the first thing that came up. And I mean, the video for Animal is nuts. It's really fucking odd, and it's very Wes Ball, and I think was a genuine inspiration for the interview. The guitar, not the interview, sorry, for the video. Yeah. The guitar player from Limp Bizkit, for those not familiar, who's well known for his bizarre stage get-ups. Yeah. And I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. Like I liked it, but it kind of slipped my mind to go back for more.
I think if I just heard one song on a one-off, I'd have just gone, that was a good song, and I'd have probably dismissed it, assuming that the rest of the music would be shit.
Yeah. But then I was in Ireland with my wife and her family, and for some reason I can't even think what the hell channel it was that was on in my sister-in-law's house, and the video for Animal came on, and I can't think what the hell channel it was, because they wouldn't have ever had anything on that was, you know, like they wouldn't have had Kerrang or Scuzz or any of them, or whatever the rest of them are.
Yeah.
Those are both references to channels that were popular when in the mid 2000s when I was actually watching music TV. But Animal came on, I was like, oh fuck yeah, this.
Yeah, this band.
This band I forgot, and so I went back and listened to the full album and was just like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
How did I forget? This is
really
brilliant.
good. So I only have one real big problem with Animal, and that's the part where the entire band do the gang vocals, where they spell out the word animal, then shout the word animal.
I literally don't even know which bit you're
entirely
talking about.
unforgivable.
I literally don't even know which bit you're talking
It's
about.
in the breakdown before they go back into the final rendition of the chorus. In the background, you hear the entire band going, A, N, I, M, A.
Are they all from New
L.
Zealand?
Animal! Yes, they're from New Zealand in my head canon, even though they're Scottish. But my point being, yeah, that's completely unforgivable. Stop that right now, Vukovi. I don't want to hear any of that on the new album. No. We know how to spell animal. We don't need you. No. Anyway.
We were very close to having a "Give Me a Y-O-R-K" on
Yeah.
one of our albums. I'm just putting that out there.
Anyway, I've basically all I've written at the end of Animal is that I can't actually type any more about the song because I'm too busy dancing. So we'll
It's an absolute beast of a
It's
track.
a tune. We'll just
It's a
move
real
to
animal of a track, Pete. It's a real animal of a track.
Oh, track 10, Boy George. Excuse me. The fuck is this, Vukovi? The fuck is this opening riff? You're just gonna drop that on me, are you? Wow. That opening riff is hype. That is some super makes you want to jump up and down riffing right there. That makes me very happy. I love it. And it's just groove central all day, every day. Instant headbanging as soon as that happens, and then there's the very punky verse starts. But I've got to hold on to some of that energy for the return of the faster, groovier riff later on down the line. That's where it's all about. This was the first song that really made me go like sit up and properly. I was already taking notice. Like I was like, I can listen to this. I can listen to this. But I was walking the dog and listening and sort of just trying to, take as much in as I could en masse. And this was, I think, the first song where I was like, oh, wow, the groove. Oh, the riff. Are the other songs like this? Have I just been ignoring this? And then, once I went back, I was like, oh, God, yeah, they're all like this. They're all really just unctuous and, the chorus is really beefed up with some lovely bassy synths, actually, that have sat underneath the guitars and stuff. That really fattens up that bottom end. And the vocals throughout this track are just really great. This is one of the ones where I think she shines more as a rock vocalist as opposed to maybe a pop vocalist, especially in the verse.
This is quite an old track, actually.
Yeah, I've heard the original mix of it. It's trash.
Yeah.
It sounds horrible.
I quite like. Have you gone back and listened to any of their other older stuff? Because I quite like. They've got two EPs called "You Look So Good in Me," and then one that followed that up, "But I Won't Wear You Again," which I've listened to sort of. I tend to put them together as an album.
Yeah.
And again, I think they're lovely. I think they're really like it. They're one of those bands that they have this vibe that of like even their older stuff. It's not as good as this. Like this album is the king of the stuff they've done.
Oh yeah,
but,
so far.
But their other hopefully so far.
Hopefully.
I really don't think it's impossible that they can match this. I think in terms of like Claudia's got a lot of the vibes for me that the older stuff has. But I can't wait to find out.
I'm going to be interested. I'll be really interested to see if they can keep the rhythm section tight. Yeah. If they can, then everything's fine with me. So yeah, the breakdown in this song goes even further down. This takes that incredible intro riff and just takes it even further into the groove rabbit hole, and it gets even triple-ier and it gets even weirder, and it's very good. I love it. I love this song. This was a real high point for me, and that sort of ends my 4 favourite tracks. I've realised all I've done is say the word groove and tight.
Groovy, tinkly, icy,
good, very good. Go listen to it. It is. This is a pop punk album for Pete. This I could not imagine a better pop punk album for me because I was really worried for a while. Like I say, the first 8 seconds I was really worried, and then afterwards I was like, well, I like that song, but I was always waiting for it to get shit. Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, their run of luck will run out eventually. Eventually, they get one of these songs.
Like watching somebody who's never played golf before get 20 holes in one.
Yeah, exactly.
Beginner's luck.
It's kind of how I felt. Yeah, exactly.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
he would never be able to do that a 19th time.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, there's no way they're actually good. I mean, come on.
So beginner's luck. Lucky shot.
Yeah. So He Wants Me Not. So this is maybe the first track that I'm like, this is a bit of a B tier track for me.
Okay.
And I want to hastily point out that this is not really that much worse than any other track on this album. I just personally don't like it as much.
Not your favourite diamond in the bag, Pete?
Yeah, not my favourite diamond in the bag, exactly. Yeah, that's the one.
Still a phrase I'm trying to popularise in my brain.
Yeah, I need to, I was actually trying to remember the words what I was going to use, but you beat me to it. I also wanted to... I was going to say there was one of the songs that actually had some emotional impact on me that I didn't just think was shit lyrically. And
was it not Weirdo?
No, it was Wanderer.
Oh, right.
It was Wanderer. It was one of the other reasons I actually like it is because I can actually really identify with the themes in that song very much so. This is another one of the tracks that gives me that good old All American Rejects vibe. It's just got that very pop punk riff, and I was really impressed that they got Shania Twain to do the vocals on the chorus.
I won't lie to you, Pete. I don't remember this song well enough to find that funny or be offended.
Well, me and Joe are going to have a little listen to this song right now. Maybe Editor Joe will put a little bit of the chorus in. I would like to point out very quickly that when I say like I'm taking the piss a bit there and saying, oh, they got Shania Twain to do the chorus and doesn't she? Isn't her vocal inflection so similar? It's really not a problem. I actually think she pulls it off really well, and it's very well done. It's a really great chorus. It's a really great bit of singing. Yeah. It's just that for whatever reason, whenever I hear it, I'm like, that could have been a Shania Twain song. Yeah, that could have been on a country.
Well, Shania, I know you're listening, so if you fancy having a crack at it, it would be great. We'd love to hear your version.
He Wants Me Not by Vukovi. Like I say, it's I don't hate this track at all. It's 100% solid. It's just it follows my 4 favourite tracks on the album. Follows 4 really big meaty tracks, and this is not a big meaty track. This is a bit more chill, I guess. Yeah, not particularly. It's more punky. In any case, it just doesn't go off the same way as the rest of the tracks. And the same could really be said of Colour Me In, which is there's not really a lot to say here. It's a really great relaxed wind down track, and the band is flexing some more of their sort of spacey textural pop stuff. And it's got some really lovely bass lines in it as well. And the vocals are great, and it's a really lovely ambience. It's a great track. It's just not a very exciting track, but it is a great album closer. It's a great wind down at the end of what has been a relatively high impact, high energy album for pop punk or post hardcore even. Like the biggest problem this album has caused me is I didn't know what to recommend you afterwards, because I thought of at least 3 bands that I haven't given you while I was listening to this, and I was like, I should give him all of those. So that's been a ball ache. Yeah, I will definitely continue to listen to this, and I would strongly recommend anyone go listen to this if you even remotely are interested in bands like Paramore, or you're interested in pop punk, or you're interested in bands with good groove, or you just like a good front woman.
If you've got ears...
Yeah, if you have ears and you like musical sounds...
Even if you don't have ears...
Yeah, sack it.
Even if you just kind of have to hold a vibrating speaker to your head because you don't have any sort of hearing facilities.
You have no idea how pleasurable it is.
You can slag the deaf off, can't you, on a podcast?
I realise I've pretty much just gushed about
That's fine. I'm genuinely very, very pleased about that. And I'm as well as surprised.
Yeah.
And thinking back, the way you've described it, I maybe shouldn't have been as surprised as I was.
Well, this is it.
But it felt like a risky one. It
This
felt
is why
like
I wanted to ask you why you thought I would dislike it, because after my initial couple of listens, I was like, I don't understand why Joe would think, because I remember you saying when you gave it to me that you thought it would be a divisive one, and I thought, does Joe actually know what I like in music? Because this is just...
But I don't know these days.
This is rhythmically shit hot.
Yeah,
yeah. Nothing gives
Absolutely.
me like the music boner quite like a good
Oh
drum
yeah,
bass
and that's
pairing.
precisely the reason I love it as well. But sometimes, you know, when you like, sometimes I think the pop punky vibes are, because there's loads of pop punk albums that
Do you know
I
what?
would.
I was worried that I was gonna get like fatigued by it, and that the pop and the cheese level would just and there's not really a lot of cheese unless you sort of, you know, consider pop to be cheesy, but there is some sort of 80s stuff going on. My point being, I kind of figured that eventually that stuff would grind me down and that I would stop enjoying it, but it wasn't really the case. It just turns out that everything was so well done that I just kept going rocking away. And
Well, I think that's the thing for me. It's really tricky. I feel like this is an album that it's like it just ties string around your wrists and just lifts them, and you're like, oh fuck, I don't actually seem to have any control over this. I seem to just be dancing. But there's loads of, for me, there's loads of pop punk records that do that. But the thing is, I don't know what it. Like we've said before, I don't know how you decide what that is. Like what that quality is, because there's loads of pop punk records now. I feel like I'd love to try and challenge myself to find you a pop punk record that, if you gave it the time, you would go, oh shit, this is actually pretty good. Because I know it's not a genre that...
You did that one.
Yeah. But I'm now thinking, oh shit, okay, so it is possible. They obviously exist. Let's find out.
But I really do think this is a unicorn.
Rarity.
I think it's a unicorn, because there's a lot more going on here than basic pop punk.
Yeah.
Really, really a lot. And I think I'll probably keep noticing stuff as I listen to it, because they're clearly all very talented musicians.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what they're doing in the future.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see.
Really excited to see how we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, that was great, man. I'm really excited about that.
Let's do some recommendations.
Yep. Jingle.
I've talked extensively here about groove and drummers and bassists. So I thought what I would do is give you an album that really, I don't know, sparked my interest in, or let's say gave me a greater appreciation of drummers that are not necessarily super complex or super technical, but that just have incredible timekeeping and groove.
Okay.
And know how to utilise that to good effect. And with that in mind, the album you will be listening to this month is Clutch's Robot Hive Exodus.
Okay.
It's a sort of... I mean, you probably know a little bit about what Clutch sound like, because I'm a massive fan and I've almost certainly played you some, but for everybody else, they are a blues rock, hard rock band from the United States who have been playing for years and years and years and years and years, and they have an absolute slew of albums, and it was really hard to whittle it down to this one and one other album, and there was even a third album, but I was sort of on the fence. I think you'll struggle with the lyrics a little. They very much rule of cool, the lyrics, but there is always a story, so hopefully you'll find something to enjoy in it, and best of luck.
What are we going to play? What are we listening to?
We'll have a bit of Circus Maximus, please, Joe.
Here's that then.
Will you be entertained by beasts and knives? Vital mentalisms will blow your minds.
Okay, look
Cool.
forward to that then. Right, well, thank you very much for listening, everyone, and we'll speak to you next time.
Ta-ra!
Ta-ra.
Today's Funny Podcast was presented and devised by Peter McHugh and Joe McLachlan. Music was by The X-Towels.